Morning everyone, my name's Doc and welcome back to the channel. In today's video I want to go over my own personal journey with trading, what got me interested, what kept me going, how long it took me to become consistently profitable, some errors along the way that I made, my foundation, what you guys can expect, and then most importantly I'm going to give you guys like 10 sort of tips for your journey. Things that I wish I knew because I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have anyone that I knew that traded in real life. I didn't know anyone in financial markets. And there's a wealth of knowledge online, like an absolute gold mine of knowledge for trading online on YouTube. Tons of quality people out there posting stuff daily. You can even go on my channel and see stuff that I've taught setups wise and trading wise and market wise, etc. But I'm not going to go over any of that stuff because, like I said, tons of that stuff is available. What I want to focus on in this video is stuff that you would only get through A, experience, or B, if someone experienced handed you those tips or told you certain things to watch for, sort of mentoring you along the process. And I think this video is for people of all skill sets. Like you can be completely oblivious. You've never traded before. You don't have a trading account. You don't know anything. This video is for you. You could be along your journey and you could be, a scratch trader, meaning you're not able to consistently grow an account. You're going up and down. You're going in circles. You can't seem to break out of you're up 20% in an account. You can't seem to grow it more than that. Like these kind of things, I think this video will cater towards a lot of people, along their journey before they've kind of quote unquote developed a consistently profitable system for themselves. So let's get started with my journey and see if we can draw any parallels to the current time and see if there's any value or lessons from that you guys can learn, or at least, you can see how long it took me, right? And then later in the video, like I said, I'll give you all those tips. Hopefully I have like 10 of them. Okay. So me with markets, I had very little background before I came into crypto, meaning in 2018, sometime in like right around here, November, December 2018, all I did was own some stocks. I had, like an IRA account. The stock market had a correction. I was buying some tech stocks. I bought some Apple, Amazon, stuff like that, right? That's really all I had in my portfolio. I didn't know anything about trading. I didn't know anything about markets. As if I looked at charts, they looked like this. I didn't even have candlesticks. I didn't know what candlesticks meant at the time. So very, 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 wet behind the ears or whatever that saying is, very new to markets, right? Fast forward to 2020, the COVID crash. I had a friend text me, now's the time to buy a bunch of stuff. Like he'd never been in markets and he's like, I'm buying all this kind of stuff. And his interest and, just talking to him on a day-to-day basis got me really into markets. We were discussing every day, hey, what should we buy? Should we buy airline stocks? Are we buying cruise stocks? What about this? What about that? And just our interest kind of led us down a rabbit hole. And you guys know how booming the market was after the COVID crash, right? So I got into markets that way. I bought some SPACs. I bought some penny stocks. I was rotating around. I learned about options trading. I was kind of like a scratch options trader. The only thing that I did really well with options trading was kind of like later in the markets, like over here. But back in that time, I was just speculating on earnings and stuff like that. Really stupid stuff in hindsight. And then kind of blew up my account and luckily was handed, that tech bull market with Tesla and Apple and everything. And I was just waking up every day buying some Apple calls and raking a little bit of profits and closing at the end of the day. And I was just rinse and repeat literally every day, right? And later in the year, I got into crypto, right? I was feeling really good about myself. I'd picked up some capital and I wanted to come to crypto. Actually, it wasn't even there. It was up here. I noticed that Bitcoin was starting to make the headlines in the news again. It was pushing towards all-time highs. I wanted a position. It had pulled back from that all-time high. Thanksgiving morning, I had my Coinbase account ready to go. I bought the dip, whatever little dip that was, and I just got handed this luxurious market, right? I just kind of speculated that new all-time highs would come. I didn't expect, 60K, 100K. I didn't really have any expectations. But the volatility in crypto really got me in here, right? And I think everyone has the same sort of start with crypto is you come in because of the gains, right? You come in because of the bull market. You come in because of this, and this is what brings you into crypto, right? Whether you were in this or you missed this, it's the idea that you can make tons of money every 4 years, whether that's a fallacy or not. So far it's been true. Every 4 years as a halving, and you'll be handed a bull market and you can make tons of money, right? That's the idea. That's why we're all in crypto. And my own journey, right? Like I was full of myself. I thought I was the best. I thought I was making tons of money, and then I got humbled. Like I got wrecked right here because I started buying a bunch of altcoins, and this crash happened. I didn't expect it, and that altcoin portfolio drew down like 85%. The spot Bitcoin and spot Ethereum that I had were still up multiples, right? The spot Bitcoin was from 16K. The Ethereum was from $500 to 550, something like that. And I was still up quite a bit in this region. And I decided, I'm like, dude, I don't know anything about crypto. Why am I here? Let me learn some stuff. I read some basics on Bitcoin. I read some basics on Ethereum. And then I got lost in the rabbit hole, and kind of the rest is history. We won't, the mistakes that I made here, I fixed, right? Just through some experience. And when I talk about trading during this time, I'm just being a positional trader. Like I'm not futures, nothing. I don't really, I just have a basic understanding of markets, basic understanding of support and resistance, some market structure idea of, higher highs and higher lows, like, very, very, very basic stuff. And that 85% portfolio that went down, all recovered, all-time highs. And up here, I was luckily following the right people. I was following Kobe, DGen Spartan, Light Crypto, who else? Pentoshi. All these guys were sounding the alarms that the top was in, and I was skeptical. And you know what I said? I was like, dude, I'm not going to hold that altcoin portfolio down again. Closed all my alts. Doubled down on Bitcoin pretty much. All those alts, I put it all in Bitcoin. Motif, I had him on recently, and I didn't get to share my story at the time, but I was laughing in the background because I was like, damn, I have a very similar story to him. And I put it into Bitcoin at around 52 or 51, 53, something around there, right? And got wrecked. I woke up December 4th morning, and my bias at the time was, oh, we're doing this, right? We're pulling back and we're going to do another leg, right? So that's why I was buying this, and I got wrecked. I got out of the markets December 21st or 23rd or something like that. It was the Christmas rally, right? And I closed everything. I got rid of all my spot. I ended in profits. I kept all, majority of the gains. Yeah, I gave some back at the top. We all do, right? But I did okay, right? But I was very humbled in that moment, and I realized I knew nothing about markets, and I didn't want, to be carried by the wave of liquidity. I didn't want to be carried by the uptrending markets. I didn't want to be carried by a market. I didn't have to want to wait 3 years for a bull market. I realized how much love I grew for markets in this, right? I just was in this almost every day. Like every day I was looking at something, and I grew addicted, or love, or passion, whatever you want to call it. But, in my own words, it was a passion. It was a love, and it still is. And I really enjoyed charts, and I really enjoyed learning, and I enjoyed getting better. And I took that upon myself as a challenge. And I said, look, I want to be the master of my own profitability. I want to dictate my profitability. I want to, be able to make money in a market that goes up, down, sideways. It doesn't matter. And I wanted to prove that to myself, right? So that's why I stuck around. So first and foremost, if you're coming into trading, and this is what I'll say, this is the first kind of piece of advice from this whole lesson, is if you're coming into trading and your idea is, I want to make millions of dollars, I think that is a noble goal, but I don't think that's the right mission statement that you should have. I think you should treat this like a sport, like a video game, like any other skill or hobby, and you should do it because you love it. You should do it because you're interested in it. You should do it because you're excited to learn, you're excited to grow. When you're playing an instrument, and if your parents put that in your hands and they're like, hey, little Jimmy, you have to learn the trumpet because school credits or something, you're not going to want to learn it. But like, if you love music and you're like, man, I love the way a piano sounds or a guitar or something like that, and I want to learn it, you're going to be much better at it. You're going to enjoy the process. You're not going to be upset if you're struggling. You're going to put in the work. You're going to study. You're going to research. You're going to keep trying. You're going to keep failing, and you're going to enjoy the process, right? So that's the goal, like, right? You want to enjoy the process, enjoy the game. Enjoy the game. That's what I'm going to say. Enjoy the game, right? Don't come into this and just be like, it's a job. I need to do this. I need to provide. I need to do whatever. That's really the wrong way to do it, right? Just come in and enjoy the markets, right? So for me, now the next question I get asked is, Doc, how long did it take you to become consistently profitable? Because I had some kind of background, right? And my natural mindset, that, you know, where my baseline risk tolerance is, I'm very risk averse. I'm not very risk tolerant. I'm not the guy that's going to yeet, you know, my whole stack of capital into one play or one coin or anything like that. I like keeping a lot of cash on hand. I like having rainy day funds. When I take trades, I take them in a very risk managed approach. So I already had that going for me. So when I started trading, you know, it was a learning process, but luckily I found the right people. Like the first guy that I really learned from was Trader XO, ICT, Trader Main, Trader SC. So I was following the right people at the right time. So they, you know, they brought the right systems to my, you know, to me, right? I wasn't trading like triangles and head and shoulders and stuff like that. I was in the bull market, but when I took it seriously, I was following the right people. And that's really important, is to follow the right people and at least trade something that has been proven to be profitable for other people, right? And that's the key, proven to be profitable. If they're showing you an equity curve over a long amount of time, that's hard to fake. I would say it's impossible to fake that. You can't fake that. You know, you can fake P&L cards, you can fake a lot of stuff, right? But an equity curve, like seeing someone's equity curve go up over time, that you can't fake, right? So make sure you're following the right people and getting the education from the right people. If you don't know who to follow, go to my Twitter, see the 170 something people I follow. About half of them are traders. Follow those people. They'll lead you down the right rabbit hole. More specifically, Trader XO, Trader Main, Pierre Crypto. These are the people who I modeled a lot of my trading after. Trader Magus. These are the people that I would recommend the most. So moving on from there, how long did it take me to become consistently profitable? It took me 6 months. My journey, I was like a kind of a scratch trader, right off the start. I made some money, I lost a bunch, I got risk adverse. It took me a long time just to build back up to even, and then I would take some trades and I'd make some money and then I'd lose it all. So I was just kind of doing this around my baseline. Like I wasn't making too much progress. I was just kind of a scratch trader. I wasn't blowing up my accounts or anything like that, but I was not able to consistently make money, although I had this kind of innate feeling that I could do this. I'm like, I can do this. It just takes more reps. I'm figuring things out. Let me get better. And I'll get into some of the things, like I said, the tips and stuff like that I have in a little bit. But it took me 6 months, somewhere in this region, right? Somewhere in May or this run up in April, something like that, from December 21st until like April, May. That was when I started seeing, oh, okay, you know, like I'm able to make some profits. And so will it take you 6 months? I don't know. It could take you less. It could take you more. That really depends on your dedication, your hard work, your patience, your persistence, your love for the game, and basically your borderline intelligence. Like you might be a fuck ton smarter than me. You could pick it up a lot faster than I did, or you may just never pick it up. You just might never be good, right? That's how these things work. We can't all be exceptional, but again, key point here: if you love it, go for it, right? Now, what's next? Before I get into all the tips, trading as for freedom is a fallacy. That's something you guys should know. Trading to say I'm gonna have the most freedom in the world, I don't have to work a 9-to-5 job, that's a complete fallacy. In fact, I found I didn't do residency. I took my boards after med school, and I didn't do residency because I was like, dude, I'm only going to make, $50K a year for 3 years, and they're going to be working me X amount of hours, and I'm really not interested. I'm loving this. Let me go to this. I can make more money here. That's why I stuck around. And what ended up happening is I probably work way harder than I would have if I was a resident. I'm putting more hours into this game. There's more screen time. I'm at the desk a lot. I'm losing tons of sleep, or I at least have in the past, because of the desire to not miss anything, because crypto is 24/7, 365, and the system that I have. You know, the entry triggers could occur at any time of day, any time at night, weekends, you know, Asia hours. It doesn't matter, right? And I have to be attentive when those triggers occur. I have to, you know, take those trades. That's my system. You guys can trade however you want, or whichever way you want. That's just the way that's worked for me, right? And over time, I will, you know, I do have plans to not live the rest of my life like that, but that's just something, you know, that I've dedicated time to. And crypto is such a motherfucker with being 24/7, 365. That's something you have to be aware of. That sometimes you are going to lose a lot of sleep in this game, and it's not easy. It's very difficult. It takes a lot of hours. Especially if you're trying to do this at an elite level and try to make a living off of trading. Okay, so that's something you need to know. Trading, as you know, equal freedom is not really. It's kind of a fallacy. You have to put in a lot of hours into the game. My advice to people, honestly, is in crypto to learn how to, instead of trading day to day, instead of trying to make a living off of this, the core focus should always be the bull market and trying to extract as much value as you can out of uptrending markets, right? Because that's the most opportunistic, that's the easiest way to make money, and that should always be number one, and trading should be supplementary. So I'm going to put this here too. Trading should be supplementary. Supplementary. I don't even know how to spell supplementary. Trading should be supplementary. One more thing, what I just say is hours and dedication required. Hours could be endless, are endless, and unforgiving. Okay. What else? You know, I covered the time zones. You should know, like I said, with the outtrending market, you can't outtrade a trending market. In fact, you know, the best traders I know would probably even agree with this, even if they have the ability, you know, and they could grind, and they could maybe 5 people I know could outtrade a trending market, trying to be an active day-to-day trader versus letting the market do the work for them. Just realize that you are going to lose. Typically, you're going to lose to a trending market anytime it violently trends like this, and it's your goal, or it should be your mission statement to have a system in place to recognize a change in trend, to recognize a trend so that you can ride it instead of trying to trade it and fight it. I think that's really all I need to say as far as this, as far as, you know, the pretext goes. I think I can start getting into the tips. One last thing, like just from experience of, you know, trading should be supplementary. I traded exceptionally well this year for my own standards, for what I was aiming to achieve in 2023, the goals set out for myself. I've exceeded them, but get this, the P&L, the money that I made, right, the actual dollar amount that I made was more just being a participant and being active and being, you know, well informed and staying active and understanding the opportunities that crypto provides. That money well outperformed the money that I made from trading. I did, like I said, I did well trading, but just being active and understanding, hey, there's a meme coin called Pepe, and, you know, it just got listed on exchanges, and we're in a market that has extreme risk appetite, and we're down the risk curve, right? I'm not going to teach you guys those things today, but, you know, you can't really outtrade this, and that's not even the right one. Hold on, it gets even crazier, right? You can't outtrade this. This is a 20x. I was in this. I couldn't outtrade this. You know, if I tried to perform the same way and try to make the same money, it would be extremely difficult to do that in this location, right? I think you guys all know that. I don't really need to elaborate on that. It's just one thing that I wanted to say from my own personal experience. Okay. We can go back to the Bitcoin chart briefly. All right. For those of you that skipped that, because I'm probably going to have this time stamped and are just joining me, now we'll get into kind of the 10 things that I think are most important. All right, let's start. Let's get rid of this just because I like cleanliness. Okay. Number 1. there's no holy grail to trading. Let's say this. There's no holy grail system. And this kind of goes with this. Trade. The market is a playground. Play however you like. Okay, so big fallacy in trading is that one system is better than another. Someone who trades EMAs is worse than someone who trades price action, is worse than someone that does this, and ICT is the only way to trade, and range is the only way to trade, and if you use this, you're a noob, and if you have Fibonacci's on your chart, you're an idiot, and if you have, this, that, and the other, right? You'll hear a lot of this along your journey, and I'm here to tell you all that's bullshit. There's no holy grail system. There's no one way to trade that's better than another way. The only thing, and I will have to say this, the only thing that I've found that has been, I haven't found one person that has a profitable system trading this is Elliott waves. That's the only thing I'm going to say. Everything else, honestly, I think you can find someone who's made that profitable, right? The market is a complete playground. Soccer is not better than basketball, is not better than handball or whatever, right? You can play the market however you want. If you are inspired by charts that look like mine, very simple, maybe one or two lines, some EMAs, right? You can trade like me. If you're inspired by someone who has even less and only trades price action, great. If you only want to trade ICT because you think that's the cleanest, like Trader Main, do that, right? If you think that, trading order flow is awesome and you want to trade order flow and you want to have DOM on your screen and you want to, read open interest and CVDs and all that stuff all day, and that's super cool and inspiring to you, and do that. Do what makes you happy. Do what you think is fun, because like I said in the beginning of the video, you need to enjoy the process. You can't have this be a complete job. You need to enjoy this, right? That's really what's going to help you improve. Do what you enjoy. There's no holy grail system. That's the biggest, that's what I wanted to get through here before we move on. Next, be a one-trick pony. Be a one-trick pony. And for those of you that don't understand this expression, what I basically mean here is find one thing that works for you. One exploitable, high percentage trade, high percentage setup that you like to trade in your system, and keep doing that over and over and over. Exploit one thing. You don't need to have a playbook. Like in football, if you understand like American football, with a playbook with 100 plays or 1,000 plays, you don't need to keep changing the game up. You just need to understand one profitable thing and keep exploiting that. That is the key, in the beginning at least, to consistent profits. Now, the market's not always going to be so forgiving. It's not going to keep giving you that one play. You will have to branch out. You will have to adapt. But the key to profitability early on, the key to learning and understanding how to build a portfolio, is being a one-trick pony. For me, I just kept seeing the same setup. I would see a point of interest, right? So this is resistance. This is a bearish order block. This is what this line at the top represents, right? And I would just, because we were in a bear market, right? We were in a downtrending market. I would just consistently see, hey, price has done this, and it's floated around here. We've dropped in here. We've come up. We've come down, right? So all I would look for is like, let's run this high into an order block, right? And then get back underneath this high, and I'm going to short it down, right? So I would just look for this setup every time. And I would look for something in here, whether it's a pullback, right? A sweep of liquidity, something in this area, a change in market structure on lower time frames. And I would short this down, and I would short it back to mid-range. And if I got a continuation, I would short it back to range low. I would just do this one thing. This is how I doubled my first portfolio ever, was just doing this one thing again and again and again and again. You don't need to have a fancy technique. You don't need to do 50 things right. You just need to do one thing consistently right, and you should glorify being a one-trick pony. Like I said, later in your journey, you're going to have, more things at your disposal. Yeah, go ahead and branch out. To this day, guys, I have maybe 3 or 4, I don't even know off the top of my head, maybe 4 things, but really it's just 2 plays that I love repeating, and maybe 4 total in my bag. And those cover me for pretty much everything, right? And I just look for those again and again and again, right? So keep your kind of setup playlist short and small, and be a one-trick pony. Okay, when you're learning, Do not, I'm really passionate about this one. Do not paper trade. I'm going to put it in all caps. Do not paper trade. Why? Paper trading teaches you nothing. The most important thing to learn when you're trading is trade management, managing your emotions, understanding to do nothing. The moments like, let's say you're in a trade, like I just drew out that schematic that I just drew out, right? Order block here, right? Run of the high, get back down. We run this again, right? In this environment, right? You're looking for a setup trigger, right? In this area, and you're not invalidated. Your invalidation's here, right? But you're underwater. You're underwater for a long time. And this, could be the 1 minute chart, could be the 5 minute chart, whatever. It feels like hours in the time when you're in trade. When you're not invalidated, you're not stopped out, the trade is still correct, but you're underwater, right? If you're paper trading, you feel nothing at that moment. You feel absolutely nothing. You can do whatever. You can be scrolling the internet. You feel nothing because it's not real money. And with this, I'm going to add one more thing. Trade with enough money to evoke that emotional response. Because this is something that you need to learn through reps. Trade with enough money to evoke that emotional response. Now, for example, if you have $1,000 at your disposal, if let's say a little bit more, let's say you have $10,000 at your disposal, trade with at least 1,000, because that's enough money to cut into your stack to really make you feel something. $300 is not a small amount of money. That's a good amount of money to lose. That for some people around the world, that's the whole month of rent, right? So that's not a little amount of money. That's a lot of money. So enough money for you individually to feel some stress. Now, I'm not saying trade your entire thing. Trade what's replaceable. Enough money that you can make back in your job, in your work, whatever you do, that you can replace that capital should you lose it. But it's really important not to paper trade because, like I said, paper trading teaches you nothing. It doesn't evoke that emotional response. It doesn't give you that response in wins either, right? When you see the green P&L like going up, right? When you see it going up and your target's up here, right? And this occurs, right? And you're like, oh my God, I was up like $600 right here. Now it's back to $3. It went up a little bit. Let me just close right here at $450 because this felt so good and this felt so bad that I should just take some profits out here, right? And you skim it and you don't have the patience. And then a few hours later or whatever, it hits your target and you're looking at your P&L and you're like, I just screwed myself because I was impatient. This doesn't occur when you're paper trading. This only occurs when you're trading with a live account with real money. So trade with real money, trade with money that evokes an emotional response. We can move on from that. I think you guys got my point. 1 second, let me clear this up so I can think clearly again. My brain doesn't work when there's clutter. What's next? Okay, this goes hand in hand. Forward testing is forward testing instead of back testing. A lot of people will tell you to back test a strategy. Simple things that I explained here, like go back in the chart, watch it occur, develop confidence, back test your strategy before you put it in play. Sure, there's some value in back testing, of course. There's some value in the confidence that you gain when you see something play out on the charts and you get the confidence to know that it will work for you when you use real money. Yeah, absolutely. But back testing will not teach you the same as forward testing. There's something to be said about time in trade versus time in the charts. And we'll just write this here too, is that time in trade is way more valuable than simple screen time. Simply watching something play out and being an observer is not going to teach you as much, like I said, as trading. Now, again, if you're trading with live funds and you're trading a new strategy that you've never done before, I'm not saying you have to trade your same amount of money, but again, trade with some amount of money. Put something on the line. Because like I said, you'll always learn a lot more by trading real money than you will with fake money or money that doesn't matter for you. If you're trading a $5, if you have $100,000 and you're trading a $10 account or a $100 account, again, it's just going to be like paper trading, right? So forward testing and really testing a strategy and getting comfortable with it and learning the nuance of it and feeling the emotion of it and really watching. Sometimes they tell you, you're going to hear this a lot. Guys, if you're trading the 4-hour chart, don't watch the 1-minute chart. Don't watch the 5-minute chart. Okay, you can listen to someone saying that, of course, but learn it for yourself. Do it yourself. Take a trade on the 4-hour. Watch the 1-hour. There's something valuable of learning why people say not to do that as well. Get in the trade on the 4-hour. Screw yourself up. Watch the 1-minute chart. Feel that pressure. Feel that psyop. Get the experience necessary. Do the reps. Take multiple trades. Time in trade is more valuable than simple screen time. It's more valuable than back testing. Testing a strategy for yourself is more valuable. You learn through reps. You don't learn through watching. It's like the same thing. You can watch Steph Curry shoot a million three-pointers. You can perfect his technique in your mind, but you're not going to be able to shoot like him without getting on the court and practicing a million three-pointers. Same thing. You can use any sports metaphor you want there. I think everyone knows who Steph Curry is. That's why I'm using him. Next, keep your watch list small, and keep your setup plays small. Keep your watch list small. I'm gonna say less than 5 coins, and at the same time, only monitor less than 5 setups at once. Sorry, I can't see my keyboard. Really far away from me. Okay. What I mean by this is, let's say you're watching a play, like right here, right? You're saying, hey, once this swing high gets taken and gets back inside, I'm going to get, underneath. You set an alert, right? You set an alert on TradingView, number 1, right? Let's say you're out doing something, you miss this alert. That's okay. You still have 4 more other plays that you're waiting on, right? It's going to be very difficult for you at any one moment to miss all 5 setups. Miss one, there's another, right? Make a small watch list. I know I have like 20 coins in here, but typically when I'm trading, like these ones that are highlighted, and this isn't updated, guys, because I'm on hiatus. I haven't traded in quite some time. But when I do, I'm gonna be cleaning this watch list up. I'm gonna have my market leaders: Bitcoin, Ethereum, ETH, BTC is one that I like to watch as well, and then some altcoins, 5 of them, 10 of them. People can suggest me 2025. I'll go through this 2025. Out of this, I'm going to find setups on just 5 of them. Out of those 5, I'll bring them to the top. I'll I'll highlight them. I'll set alerts, and that's it, right? If I miss one, there's 4 more. And going hand in hand with this one is not to get distracted by shitcoin of the day. If you have your, 5 setups and your 5 coins, every day there's going to be shitcoin of the day. Ignore shitcoin of the day. Every single day there's going to be a new coin that's leading the pack, that's number 1. Now, a lot of you guys are going to say, I specifically only want to trade leader of the pack coins. If that's your system, completely fine, right? If every day you want to trade current meta cartel coins, that's your prerogative. Do that. That's part of your system. This part of my, tips list probably doesn't apply to you. But if you are someone who is going to trade based on your, you have 5 setups that you're looking for and you're looking for those plays, stick to those. Don't deviate midday and be like, well, I missed, setup 1, setup 2. There's a new coin popping, and then try to make plans on the fly. I think that's more an advanced strategy. That's after a few months. That's after you're already consistently profitable. You will be able to adapt to that. But in the beginning, do not focus on this. Sorry, it's my phone. In the beginning, do not focus on that, right? Just keep your focus on the coins and the plays ahead of you. And what else do I say? This is like a famous saying in markets, is kind of, I don't even know where to put, I'll put this somewhere else, is we plan trades that we don't take. We take. Right. This is something that you guys will see for yourself, is like, we plan trades that we don't take. We take trades that we don't plan, right? We're planning to take this trade. We're planning to take this trade. We missed the trigger. We're nervous. We ended up not taking it. We psyopsed ourselves out of taking it. We convinced ourselves at the very last minute that we're not going to take this trade. We got nervous. Someone said something. Someone, evoked a response in you that were like, oh, maybe they're right. I'm wrong. I'm not going to take this, right? So we planned it. When the time came, we didn't take it, right? And at the very last minute, you feel bad. The trade's going for you. you're like, oh, I fucked up. You try to compensate for that. You scour the market. You're like, I need to do something right now, and you take a trade you don't plan. Maybe you even try to in the fly here take a different trade with a different R, and that screws you over. And then instead of making money on the trade that you planned, you took a trade that you didn't even plan and you lost money, right? So don't take trades that you don't plan. Take the trades that you plan. And going with this one is ignore everyone else. Ignore literally everyone else's opinion. Ignore everyone else's trades, ignore everyone else's opinions and trades, right? It doesn't matter what someone is doing. It doesn't matter if their bias is opposite than yours. It doesn't matter if they think that your trade is stupid. You still have a responsibility to yourself to take that trade, mess up, and learn, right? Fail and grow, right? You have a responsibility to yourself to learn how to fish, not be given fish. Learn how to fish and feed yourself. Do not rely on someone else's trades. Don't copy trade someone. You're never going to get consistently profitable if you have to keep on relying on other people, because other people make mistakes too. I make mistakes all the time. I post trades on Twitter that don't come to fruition. I get stopped out. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. If your goal is I'm going to copy trade Doc all the time, you're going to make money, but you better make sure you're going to copy every single thing I do. You better be in the Discord. You better be in my DMs. You better be in my house over my shoulder watching everything I do at every moment, because that's the only way you're going to copy trade me to success. You're going to need someone to hold your hand every step of the way. If someone's underwater, you know what you're going to be doing? You're going to be panicking. You're going to be texting them and be like, oh, are you still in the trade? Do you still believe this? Don't be that guy. Teach yourself how to fish. Do not rely on other people's opinions, and do not rely on other people's trades. Don't copy trade. Don't fall into that trap, because here's an example. If they're right and you're wrong, your confidence gets shaken. You feel like you need to depend on them. You feel like you can't do this. You're like, I need to watch this person. If they're wrong, you're like, oh my God, I was right. They were wrong. Why did I even waste my time doing that? Or if they were wrong, you're like, oh, this is the wrong trader. I need to move on to someone else. They didn't have the Holy Grail, right? All of that's nonsense. Teach yourself how to fish. Ignore literally everyone else's opinions. Ignore CT. Ignore everything. Trade your book. Trade your plan. Do not trade someone else's. If at the last minute someone's saying something to you to mess you up, to get you not to trade this, you're going to realize over time, over days, over weeks, over months, that every time someone will screw you up. It doesn't even matter if they're right. Be wrong, right? Here's the next piece of advice. If you're wrong and someone else was right, fine. Ask them afterwards. Be like, hey, can you walk me through this? Don't be shy. Ask them, right? Maybe they don't answer, but it's worth trying. Ask them, hey, man, I got this wrong. What do you think I could have done better? What did you see, right? After the fact. Do it after the fact in an educational manner. Don't do it ahead of time, right? Learn after the fact. Moving on from that. Let's see. Simplicity will always beat complexity in markets. Do not overcomplicate your system, right? This is something that I learned after being profitable, right? I became profitable being a range-bound trader. I started adding more to my system because I realized, oh, look, I can fade the range low, I can fade the high, but really all these moves in between, you know, when a coin is just moving consistently upwards to range highs, I don't have anything in my system that allows me to capitalize this. So I learned from that. And being, you know, that positive experience of learning that made me go, oh, let me learn more things. Let me learn more things, right? And I added more things to my system. I put RSI at the bottom. I started religiously watching open interest. I started religiously watching CVDs. And I realized all that was doing was giving me analysis paralysis, because one thing would conflict with another thing, would conflict with another thing. And I wouldn't be able to take trades because there was too many conflicting signals, right? So when you have something that works for you and you want to add stuff, go ahead. Add more to your system, but then at the end, understand that too much is going to you know, conflict with one another, right? And then you're going to come back to what I call, and I'm going to do a video on this one day. And it's going to look something like this. You're going to start very simple. You're going to start adding stuff to your system. Those things may be positive, negative, it doesn't matter. And then you'll come out the other end with a second simplicity, right? For me, that was, hey, I want to trade price action. I want to trade EMAs. Let me add RSI. Let me add flow, all that stuff. And, you know, that was my complexity stage, right? Where I got extremely, analysis paralysis, or, extreme case of, analysis paralysis. And then I came out the other end and I trimmed so much stuff. And now for me, I just watch some open interest, EMAs, and price action, right? That's all I do. I couldn't give a damn about anything else, right? I just want to know, is this move being caused by, spot? Is this move being led by perps? Are people shorting? Are they longing? Here's some price action. Here are the levels. Here are the EMAs. This is what the chart's telling me. Very simple. I don't want to add anything more than that, right? Moving on. This is one of the most important points. You are your worst enemy. You're your worst enemy in markets. You're going to do everything to self-sabotage a trade. You're going to do everything in your power to mentally ruin something that is working well. I gave you guys the example already in the beginning when I said don't paper trade, how you're going to be emotional and you're going to say, oh, I was up and it front ran my target and now it's reversing. Let me close the trade. You're your worst enemy. You got in your own way. You were not invalidated. Everything was on your side. You just got shaken. You made a split-second decision that ruined the entire thing. Trader SZ has a banner on his Twitter that says something like, entry, right? Entry. This is kind of profits. I don't even remember what it looks like, but it's entry, profits, and this is the part where you're supposed to do nothing. You're supposed to do nothing along this, and this is where you fuck up. This is where you fuck up. You're not supposed to do anything. You're supposed to allow the trade to play out, and this is not going to be like 100% of the time. I know some of you guys are saying, well, what if something occurs mid-trade? Yes, that happens with experience. You will learn with experience how to make intra-trade adjustments. But that's not what you should be doing in the beginning. In the beginning, you should learn to do nothing and understand that in markets, you are your worst enemy. I'll give you one example. It's not only with trading, it's with building your portfolio as well. It's with, showing that equity curve that goes up and to the right. I have a friend who recently told me, hey Doc, I lost 3 trades in a row. My confidence is kind of shaken. And then he got a bread and butter setup. He got a setup that, only appears once every week or once every other week or something like that. And, he had taken 3 losses on his portfolio. He got that bread and butter setup. He sized down on that trade because he was nervous or complacent, or what's the right word? Just scared, right? He didn't want to keep losing more money. And then when his portfolio went back up and went back to that level where he started his losing streak, he took profits on his trade. He didn't take profits on his trade at the target. He took profits on his trade on the way up instead of the target. Just so that he felt comfy. He's like, oh, my portfolio is back to break even. I played that loss. I removed that loss. And I got to, and he didn't get the whole profits. If he just stayed in the trade and did nothing, his portfolio would be all the way up there, right? So you're your worst enemy. You're going to have to find a way to get out of your own way and allow your trades to play out. And I'm going to say, with this, don't trade your P&L, trade the chart, okay? That's self-explanatory, like I just said, okay? What else? I said 10 things. We're already at 14 things, and I think I have a few more. I'm just gonna think here. I haven't mentioned journaling, so let's talk about that. And I know some of you are gonna be like, oh, journaling. I already know this. Everyone says this. Nope. Don't fast forward. Journal for self-reflection and self-accountability. What this means is when you're journaling. The idea that people have with journaling is, oh, I'm going to just document my trades. I'm going to write what I did and I'll come back and read it or something like that, right? They have this false, they don't understand what the point of journaling is. Journaling is for self-reflection and self-accountability. At the end of the day, right? Let me give you an example that is non-trading. Let's say we have a bad day because we made a bad decision, right? We were driving, we got caught, we got pulled over, we were speeding because we were snowballing out of control. We had a bad day at the office. We didn't get that promotion we wanted. We're driving home, we're angry, we run a red light, or we're driving stupid. The cop pulls us over, he gives us a ticket. Now we have to pay a fine. When we come home in that evening, we just want to forget everything. We want to forget our day. We want to forget all the mistakes that are our fault, right? The driving's our fault, right? And what we do is we'll crack open a beer, we smoke something, right? We smoke a cigarette, we smoke weed, whatever we do, whatever you guys do to get, watch TV, eat a tub of ice cream. We do something that makes us feel good and makes us forget, so that we wake up the next morning, we forget about the prior day because we've compensated all that negative with positive. We've removed all of that from our brain. We didn't actually learn anything, and we go on with the next day, right? And we probably make repeatable mistakes. In trading, it's the same thing. When we're trading, we make mistakes. We get in our own way. We are our worst enemy, right? We're our worst enemy. We make mistakes, and when we journal, that is that self-reflection and self-accountability. It's at the end of the day writing, hey, Doc, you did this, you messed up here, you made this mistake, you got in your own way, you screwed up your trade, you didn't hit the target, you did something to ruin this for yourself. You know what's going to happen is you're just going to get tired of seeing that. For me, that happened as well, right? I used to do this thing where I would trade around my entry, right? I would be bored because I'm waiting for something to come to this level, and I'm waiting 8 hours for it to come there, and it's taking forever. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm planning to short this level anyways. I don't even wait for the trigger, right? So I just start shorting the level blindly. I'm like, I'll put 20% in because I'm just so bored, right? And the price rips right through it. And I'm like, oh my God, it didn't even stop at that level. It's just going to the next level. There's another, right? It's going up here, right? And I close the trade and I take an L, right? Not a full L because like I said, I opened 20%, right? And then price comes down. Right. And I'm like, oh, look, it flipped this. It did an SR flip here. Right. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should take longs. It's actually a good thing. Like I said, taking trades we don't plan. Right. And then, oh, we should take a long here that's going upwards. It's, this is the new target. And then it does this and it deviates back into range. And you have a break-in structure, right? And you have this. And by that time, you've taken 2 L's. You don't even want to take this trade. And you close everything. When you journal this, you are acknowledging that you made stupid mistakes. You're writing it down with pen and paper. You're not typing it quickly. You're not writing a voice note. You're not, at the end of the day, what people say, oh, I journaled. I thought about all the mistakes I made. I'll remember them. No, when you sit there with pen and paper and you write them down, it's so personal. And you're not going to want to do it. You're not going to want to acknowledge that you're an idiot. You're not going to want to acknowledge all the mistakes you made. And for me, during this journey of me going from unprofitable to profitable, I was making the same mistake every day, all the time, a million times. And not just, what I just did, that example there, I would do that a lot. I would do the same thing again and again and again and again, to the point where I just got so sick of writing it down, and I would be like so much more ashamed. Instead of losing the money, I would be like, dude, I don't want to write that, I've made this mistake. And honestly, within about, I think 2 or 3 weeks of journaling, I saw extreme uptick in my profitability because I was so tired of confronting myself and saying, oh, I did this wrong again. I did this wrong again. I did this wrong again. Right. It felt worse. Like my ego was more hurt than my money. I was losing money, but I was so angry at myself because I was finally awake and I was finally aware of the things, right? So journal for self-reflection, journal for self-accountability. I know you guys are not going to want to do it. A bunch of you guys are still going to hear this. You're going to listen to like 50 other things I said. You're still not going to do this one because this is the most painful. I'm telling you, this is the most painful. You're not going to want to do it, but it's the one that you should do the most because it's going to help you out the most. And last thing, because this video has gone on long enough, I'm going to say one last thing. Don't get lazy. With trading, it is a eat what you kill environment. It is like hunting. You're not going to eat until you kill something. You're not going to eat unless you sit out there for 18 hours, you wait for your opportunity, you shoot your shot, you hit your target, now you can eat some food. Right? With tennis, it's the same thing. That's, the biggest thing that I can compare it to because I used to play tennis professionally. Your paycheck, the money that you make, depends on how well you do in that tournament. There's no contract. It's not like the NBA that you get signed to a contract. It's not a record deal where you get signed to a contract. It's like that. Boxing, you have to beat people. You have to get, you're going to get paid based on your wins. Yeah, maybe the MMA or the UFC gives you a contract eventually, but to build your way up, you got to win, right? Trading is the same way. You have to earn it every day. You're never going to be able to rest on your laurels. You're never going to be able to completely overcome all the things in this list. Even as I'm saying them now, I haven't perfected any of these things. I continue to occasionally Not often, that's gone way down, but I continue to make so many of these mistakes. I continue to look for shitcoin of the day. I continue to get distracted sometimes. I'll take trades that I don't plan sometimes. I'll plan trades and psyops myself at the last minute. I will take profits before my take profit sometimes. Sometimes I still trade around my entry. It is a forever journey of getting better. It is the journey of self-mastery. It is not a one-time, I accomplished this, I'm good forever. Right now, I'm on about 1 month hiatus from trading, even longer if you count, how long since I've traded perps on centralized exchanges. It's been a while. I've taken very few trades on perps in the last few months, right? And now I see myself going, I'm rusty, right? And I came back to the markets. I took one trade the other day or two trades, right? And I lost both of them. And I go, the mistakes that I made in both of those trades had to do with laziness and cockiness. I thought, oh, I'm already here. I'm already it's going to be so easy. I'm going to pick it up. I didn't put the effort in. I didn't grind. I wasn't sitting there watching. I wasn't intense about it. I wasn't, disciplined. I made a bunch of rookie mistakes. Even now, even a year and a half after being profitable, 18, 19, however months it's been since, the first time that I had a consistently profitable equity curve. I'm still making those mistakes. So don't get lazy. Don't think that you've won the game. Every trader that's been doing this for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years is still struggling with the same things. So yeah, don't get lazy. You have to earn it every day. You have to come back. Do not get complacent. The job's never finished. It's not finished until you have an 8-figure, bank account, whatever that may be, right? Even if you make $1 million, that's not enough to retire in this day and age. You got to make, depending on where you live, maybe it's some places you could retire, but not in America. You can't retire with $1 million anymore, right? So you got to keep working, man. Trading is not easy. It's one of the hardest things I've ever done, if not the hardest thing I've ever done. I've played tennis professionally, like I said. Many would consider that very difficult, like I would, because I didn't make it, obviously. Only I think 250 people, maybe even less, can make a living playing tennis. That's including men and women, by the way. And I went to med school. I took boards. People would consider that pretty challenging. I consider trading to be even more challenging than both of those things. Well, maybe not tennis, but definitely one of the most challenging things in the world. Requires so much discipline. You have to deal with a lot of anxiety. You have to deal with a lot of stress. You have to deal with a lot of self-doubt. You have to overcome a lot of issues. And you come out the other end. And you know what the beautiful thing about markets is? I heard actually a guy I really look up to, Trader Magus, say this recently. And he was like, I feel like I'm a better person because of trading. And he said that and he felt like cringe about it. And, I've never said that out loud. But when he said that, I was like, man, I agree with you. Like, I feel the exact same way. I feel like I'm a more patient person. I feel like I'm a more disciplined person because of this game. I feel like things don't get to me. I don't get angry anymore. I understand. It really does translate because trading is just a game of discipline. It's a game of, like I said, that one trick pony, hitting that same thing once, every single time, and doing it to perfection every single time. It does not become... It doesn't get easier a millionth time, right? Steph Curry still misses threes. Steph Curry still has games where he goes 0 for 11 from 3. Like it's not just guaranteed, even at the highest level. And I'm going to leave it with that. I think I gave you guys enough information. I think this video, the reason I wanted to make this is I make a lot of videos, for current market conditions and stuff, but I think this one will stand the test of time. Maybe I'll come back and redo this video one day, but these are really the things that I think these are the things that I wish I knew. These are the things that I wish someone out there tabulated these things for me. December 2021. I wish December 2021 I had this list because, maybe it still would have taken me 6 months to get consistently profitable, but I wouldn't have had to learn these things on my own and wonder if it was the right thing. I would just have someone going, yeah, this is what my mistakes were. You can learn from these. And if you are someone who is easily coachable, is willing to learn, is willing to, separate themselves from their ego and take advice from other people, I think these things will serve you well. And if they helped you, leave a like on this video. If they, even if it didn't help you, leave a like on this video because that's why I'm doing it, right? We're trying to build the YouTube here. I'm trying to bring value to you guys, but no, I'm just kidding. What really matters is if, in a few years, you guys, or months, days, whatever it may be, you attained profitability and these things helped you, come back and let me know, because that would mean a lot to me that I was able to help someone out there. And yeah, that's it. Good luck. Have fun. Until the next one, guys.